to a full guide on how to ride an electric unicycle for beginners. If I was like your best friend and you just got an electric unicycle and I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to get you riding so me and you can go out on our adventure, the quickest. Hypothetically, make up the situation. This is your brand new V12 high torque. You just got it out of the box. You're looking at it. The best thing I can tell you is to just go right into your kitchen in between the countertop and the refrigerator inside. So you can see this, like, I want to give y'all the realest scenario of this as possible. This is the easiest way to do it. Everybody's got a refrigerator and a countertop, okay? In their flat, in their apartment, in their house, whatever it may be. And this is absolutely the best spot to get your very first groundings on an EUC. We're gonna move up next, but this is the best place to get your understandings of the wheel. So you wanna feel it for a second. As soon as you get it out of the box, just kind of feel it for a second. I know this feels weird. Just kind of roll it back and forth. Kind of feel how fast it accelerates when you put weight on the front, weight on the back, and just kind of feel it for a minute. And as soon as you kind of get, your groundings, put a foot on it. Just put a foot on it right here. That's all you need to do is put one foot on it and then kind of roll it back and forth. And I want you to feel how this thing feels. Roll it back and forth and get to where, and this will take a minute. Honest to God, this will take a minute, man. If you're just getting into EUC, getting to where you can just roll back and forth, controlled back and forth, understand how this thing works. And this is all you want to do for a minute, just feel it. Just feel how it goes. And then I want you to brace between your refrigerator and your countertop. You get your brain calibrated to understanding how this thing works. So you brace between your refrigerator, your island, and your kitchen, and then go ahead. I want you to not put your other foot on yet. You're just gonna put weight. Just put weight on this leg, okay? I want you to slowly put weight on this leg, and then slowly take weight off of this leg. And for you heavier guys out there, man, this may take a little bit, and I understand that. I understand working this way up, and that's why I'm trying to teach y'all in this way, so it doesn't, it doesn't discourage even the, the more heavier weight guys out there from riding, because you can easily learn it. You just got to take baby steps, okay? This is my foot I kick a ball with. If I'm running up to kick a soccer ball or a football or anything like that, my dominant foot is my right leg. If your dominant foot is your left leg, you're gonna wanna put that on first and start with that, just because it's a better brace to brace this thing. Okay, so you literally just you're taking weight off of this foot, you're working your way up to where you can take weight off and brace right here. And you're slowly working your way up to where you can just feel that, just kind of feel rocking back and forth, taking your weight off this foot. Take your weight off this foot, rock slowly forward, rock slowly back, rock slowly forward, rock slowly back. And keep this foot as low as you need to. Keep this other foot as low as you need to, and learning this. And then, once you get the feel of it, this will only take about, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. I want you to just go ahead and take the other foot and put it up here. Now you can do this to start off with. You can go ahead and put the other foot up there to start off with, but I want you to learn with your dominant foot how the wheel feels, and do that little exercise I showed you, because your dominant foot is the main driver of EUC. With my right foot down only, I can ride all day like that, but I'm still not good enough to where I could ride with my left leg down, which is my non-dominant foot, and ride in a straight line for a long distance with that just left leg. So your dominant foot really is your main, it's your anchor point for EUC. So just get comfortable with that, okay? Get comfortable with that dominant foot kind of doing everything. And that's where you gotta, because you gotta take off. So you gotta take off, with that dominant foot. You gotta push off and put that your dominant foot's over here. You gotta kind of push off, and everything stabilized with that dominant foot. Your brain has to learn how this thing works, okay? Your brain just has to learn how to trust this thing, is the best way I can put it. Because your brain hasn't ever experienced anything like an EUC before. And it's not going to trust it. And as soon as your brain learns to trust this thing, that's whenever everything changes, where you can just lean forward and go and completely trust it, okay? But without your brain knowing you can trust this thing, you're never going to just lean forward and go like that and trust it, okay? So you just have to just sit here for a minute, go back and forth, hold on to the refrigerator, the counter, learn how this thing works, learn how it operates, learn how it responds, learn everything kind of about it. You'll learn so much about this thing just in a few minutes of sitting here, just doing this. And then after that, I want you to go outside. I want you to go to the garage. I want you to go outside to your cul-de-sac or your road in front of your house, wherever it may be, or either to like a parking garage or something. You know, we're going to upgrade from the kitchen to somewhere a little bit more. You know, you don't want to be out in the open where everybody can see you be an idiot and falling, but you kind of want to be somewhere a little bit secluded where you got some privacy and you can learn, you know. Best place to learn is just like the top of parking garages. If you're in a city, no one parks at the top of parking garages up there, you know, during like a weekday or a weekend. Just go up to the very top of it and just learn up there where you're away from everybody and just got open space and no one's gonna see you be an idiot, okay? Because it's gonna take a little bit of learning, but it won't take much, okay? So let's go to the garage and I'll show you exactly what you need to do from here. All right, so now that you've learned basically how the wheel responds and how the wheel behaves, just by, you know, bracing the countertop and your refrigerator or wherever it is, and just learning how it navigates and how the wheel responds, now is the time to actually go for it, okay? And this is the biggest thing you're gonna have to do with EUC, is once you make the decision to, and a lot of people are doing this on their own. Like if you have somebody that can show you how to ride EUC, that's great, because they can put their arms out and kind of brace them like this, and then you can grab onto their arms and kind of go along with them and learn that way. But a lot of people are getting this, you know, their first time out of the box. They have nobody to really show them. So you got to kind of learn in the way I'm showing you here. Best way to do that, once you've learned, you know, by holding on to something and learning how the wheel works, your brain is going to be a lot more adapted to the machine. So now you can kind of just go, your dominant foot, what you want to do is practice this exercise for a second. You want to go a few feet like that and then put your foot down. So you want to refrain from just going, just sloppy that looks. You don't want to do that. That's awful. A few feet, put the other one on gracefully and ride off. That's the biggest difference, guys, in learning to ride an EUC that I see, because a lot of people, and some people get it down this way. Some people, I've seen them, they get it and they're like, all right. They just jump on it, and it's the sloppiest looking shit I've ever seen in my life. But for some people it works, okay? Like for instance, there's a cook at a restaurant. Guy comes out with a cigarette with a half like bro hawk. He's like, man, let me try. He's never seen an EUC before in his life. He's like, dude, that thing's awesome. Let me try it out. I'm like, all right, bro, whatever. He's like, how do I do this? And he just jumps, bro. He like just jumps on it like that. And he's gone, bro. And he darted across the intersection with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, bro, just booming. And he just didn't know how to stop, dude. So it's like booming across the road, and he just got to a certain point and he just jumped off of it. The wheel went flying down the road and he went running. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, tore up my shit, man. But that's not how you want to do it, okay? You want to learn how to do it. This is how you want to learn. You want to learn gracefully to where you can take off and then sit the other foot down. Even if you got to just go a few inches and set that other foot down. Set that other foot down. That's all that matters, okay? And then as soon as you get comfortable with being able to just kick off and gracefully sit this foot down, that's the biggest key, you guys. And that will make riding so much, or learning to ride so much better. Okay? Now, some of you delinquents out there may be still having a problem riding your electric unicycle. Fear not. Get that belt your dad whipped your. Let me show you a little trick. Now this is a hack when it comes to riding electric unicycles. And you can use this on any wheel out there, okay? Now fun fact, A lot of electric unicycles used to come with a strap. Back in 2015, my first EUC came with a buckle that went through the top handle right here and strapped around like this. And I know a lot of you out there are like, what the hell is Chooch talking about right now? But I'm being serious, guys. So this is now this is a regular belt. But a lot of EUCs back in 2015 used to come with a belt that would go around the top handle, and it would hang on to like this. So when you're learning to ride EUC, you can learn, and when you go to crash, you can catch your wheel. See how I just caught the wheel like that? And it doesn't go rolling off and running away. But it also, okay, now it's gonna spin out in circles. But it also, guys, it helps so much. Grab, whatever it may be. You can use a belt, paracord, whatever it may be. And if you have a unicycle that doesn't have a top handle on it, just use some Gorilla Tape or something and make a handle to where you can grab on like this, and it just helps you when you're learning to ride. It helps so much. I don't know how to explain it, but being able to just hold another point of contact when you're getting this other foot up, it makes a huge difference. And look at that, just really, it makes a huge difference, guys. And so much so, the other EUCs, like the Airwheel X3 that I got in 2015, it came with a strap that buckled, and it even came with training wheels. I'm not kidding you guys, but the strap is what helped the most. And you literally could just put your other foot on and hold the strap like this. And holding the strap, it keeps the weight kind of balanced in a way that makes it easier to ride. I don't know how to explain it. But the other benefit too is if you're just learning, because when you're just learning to ride EUC, it's going to be a little bit weird, okay? And you're going to be like, oh. But look at that. How much better is that to hold onto my wheel instead of it taking off down the sidewalk or spinning out of control more or like self-destructing itself. Like this top strap, whatever you make it out of is going to make a big difference in helping you learn. And it's universal. Check this out. And this is just, y'all have seen one of these belts. It's one of those little like ratchet belts. And so with the V12 high torque, stick it through the top right here. And dude, this really does help. If I was just learning how to ride EUC again, I would definitely want somebody to show me this, because this is the #1 thing that helped me learn when I first learned to ride, guys. And the first place I learned to ride EUC, guys, was, so check this out. V12 high torque, pulling up like this, kick off, and I got this strap right there kind of holding on, you know. It's in third point of contact, and if I do fall, my precious EUC, I can catch it without it falling over all the way, okay? That's another beautiful benefit, but it also helps you kind of stabilize everything. The first place I learned to ride EUC was it was 2015, and they had those hoverboards out there. It was like on the 16th Street Mall in Denver. They had all the hoverboards out there, and they had like 2 electric unicycles, and they were the Airwheel X3s. You can look it up, Airwheel X3, they're on Amazon, they're like $300. They're garbage electric unicycles, but in like 2015, that was like, you know, kind of the mid-range thing, you know, that was kind of the best we had for like mid-range EUCs. And I got one of those, dude. I was so intrigued by it. And I was like, dude, just give me a minute to learn how to ride this thing. He's like, nah, I can't, dude, I can't, because they were trying to sell them. And I'm like, dude, I'll give you $20 to let me go out there for 15 minutes and just learn how to ride this thing. He's like, okay. I gave him $20, and I took the EUC outside in the middle of downtown Denver in Ryder Square, a little area over there. They got a few coffee shops and like sandwich shops and whatever. But I learned how to ride EUC in downtown Denver in Ryder Square, and I fell in love with it, dude. I went out there for about 15 minutes, and I just like learned all about it and kind of completely kind of learned how to do it myself, really. I've been riding ever since 2015, since that day where that guy let me ride that EUC. This is just how I learned how to ride, man. And I couldn't have imagined of learning how to ride EUC without something that run around the top handle like this. You pull up like this, you got a third point of contact in the thing upright. Look at that, keeping it upright, basically. So just put your other foot on, hold up and then just take off. And it may work for some people, it may not work for other people, but I like it. I do like it. Just because I can hold on. Your specific wheel does not have like a top handle, like mounting point, you can just use Gorilla Tape and use a lot of it and just stick whatever you need to on there for the time being while you're learning. And this will make a huge difference, guys, to just learn how to ride.
Be careful.
And then you still catch your wheel. Because if not, that thing would have just spun out and torn itself all to hell. You know what I mean? So. All right, dudes. Anyways, I hope this video helps you guys that are learning the hobby of EUC. Don't get discouraged by it. It's super easy to learn. And once you learn it, it's so worth it, man. Like, this hobby is truly my favorite. Now, once you've learned that, once you learn how to put your other foot on there, you can kick off, set your other foot down, and just, my biggest tip, guys, is to lean hard forward. If you're having a problem with this, if you're having a problem, okay, if you're just learning EUC and you're having this problem, and you're just putting your foot on there and you're just trying to go, and you're like, and you're not going anywhere, my biggest thing I can say is this. Lean forward, bro, and just go, because what's gonna happen is the gyroscopic effect is gonna work with you, okay? And so, and it's scary, bro. At first, it's so scary because you don't want to trust the gyroscopic effect of this damn thing. I know it. You don't want to trust this thing, but you really have to. As soon as you get the basics, as soon as you learn, you know, kind of how to stay on it for a few feet, you just got to lean hard forward. Really, and I mean really lean forward, because if you're just trying to go and you're just trying to put this foot up and just go, see that you're not getting anywhere. Yes, that's not gonna work. So what you got to do is you got to get on this thing and you got to lean your center of mass over the axle, okay? So, and you got to mean it. You got to lean like you mean it, okay? Get on this thing. Put your other foot on and lean like you mean it, and you'll go. And what'll happen is, yeah, it'll be sketchy as shit. You might bust ass at least one time. Wear your gear, wear your helmet, wear your gloves, wear your wrist guards. But what's gonna happen is when you go and you just lean forward and decide to go, you have the gyroscopic effect working with you. And it's not working against you, and it's just so much better. Oh shit, tearing everything up. Push off, foot on, lean forward, go. Don't sit back too long here. So don't sit back too long. Once you put this other foot on, if I just sit back and with all my weight up here and not leaning forward, you can't really get going, you know what I mean? So if you just lean, kind of look where you want to go and then lean forward, you'll get there, right where you want to go, okay? So that's another thing. You kind of, before you get on it, before you kind of mount the unicycle, pick where you want to go, kind of mount on it, and keep your legs bent if you can. If you're in shape to do that, keep your legs bent if you can. Pick a point where you want to go, mount, and then go where you want to go. With EUCs, all you have to do is just ride more, and you will get so much better when it comes to turning, to braking, to negating your speed wobbles, to everything you can imagine. All you have to do is just get out there and ride more. You will learn so much about electric unicycles, and that's my biggest tip. And ride more. And with motorcycles and bicycles, you really don't, you'll learn a lot between your different rides and whatnot. But with EUCs, man, you stack the knowledge between your rides, between your terrains, whether you're riding on road, off road, whether, whatever it is, you really get way better very quickly. So just get out there and ride more is my best tip to a lot of you. Once you get the basics down, just get out there and ride around your neighborhood more. If you just do 2 laps around the neighborhood at night, up that to 6 laps around the neighborhood at night, and you will be so much better. What I showed you before when it comes to when you're sitting there in between the countertop and you're island in the kitchen, that may take some of you, 3 or 4 hours to get the hang of it, but just sit there and do it. If you got to watch TV, you got to put on a show, put on some music, whatever it may be, just sit there and spend the time and just stand on your unicycle. I had a class whenever I was in college. I would stand in the back on my EUC. This is when I first got into EUC, and it was a morning class at 8:30 in the morning, and I would fall asleep every morning. Every single time I went in that class, I fell asleep and slept all. And this is when I first got my first ever EUC, and I wanted to learn how to ride it. So eventually, like halfway through the semester, I just started standing up on the EUC in the back of the classroom, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. But I was like, I asked the professor, I was like, yeah, it keeps me awake, and I'm like, let me just stand on it. Like, I didn't ride it, I just stood on it. I just like bracing against the wall and just like kind of stood on the EUC like this, just like standing on it, with it powered on, but like rocking back and forth like this. And guys, doing that every day. And like sometimes I would like, when we had a break or whatever, I'd kind of boost off and like ride in a circle or whatever and ride all around the room. But I learned so much just by standing on the wheel. But really, if you're having a hard time with learning EUC, just do that. Do what you can. Just, if you can stand on it and brace against the wall, just do that. And your brain's gonna learn so much just by doing that. And then if you can move down the wall a little bit, do that. But eventually you'll learn it, and there's no reason somebody can't learn how to ride an EUC in one day. I've taught everybody that I've ever taught, how to ride one in under 45 minutes. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to learn how to ride one very quickly. And they are the best way to get around and a phenomenal form of transportation. I love motorcycles. I love everything about boarding, board sports, etc. But nothing beats the EUC. It's just a truly awesome piece of technology and a way to, commute around the world. I hope this video helped you. If it did, throw a thumbs up, and I'll see you dudes in the next one.
Bare bone fundamentals that's going to get you going. It's going to get you on your EUC that you just got, and it's going to get you rolling and going. And throughout that process, you're going to learn how to brake. Your brain's going to pick up on the braking when you're rocking back and forth between the island and the refrigerator. You're also going to learn how to turn just by doing those little exercises. And I don't want to go into too much of just trying to explain how to brake, how to turn, all this stuff, because your brain, you're going to pick up on that. After you get the very basics of what I just explained right there, just how I explained having your dominant foot on there and gracefully putting the other foot up there, and just kind of learning that whole thing is going to help you so much. And you, as the individual, can learn how you like to turn. You can learn how you like to brake. Some people like to brake differently. I can do a video on that, but I really think that there needs to be a basic, basics, fundamentals, how to ride an electric unicycle video, because there is people that struggle, man. There's people that have been trying to ride one for up to a week, 2 weeks, and they just cannot get it down. So I think just explaining it in simple terms like that, and one video out there and this really may help a lot of people. I know this isn't for all my subscribers, but this really may help a lot of the newer riders. And for people that are discouraged about trying one of these things, a very basic video like that explaining it to where anybody could get it may really intrigue a lot of people out there from the mountain bike world, from the one wheel community, from anything. Like, if you have seen one of these things and you ride motorcycles, mountain bikes, anything out there, and you've just been looking at it, I know they look interesting. I want to tell you, they're a total blast. It's so much fun. It's like a land jetpack. It's the closest thing we can really get to an affordable type of jetpack, where you're just leaning wherever you want to go and you're going there. And it's so much fun. You can get to where you can ride trails. Trails are where you'll really pick up a lot of skill, because you got to turn right, left, go over bumps, all kind of stuff. You'll really get your skills up quickly on trails. The absolute best places to buy an electric unicycle are eWheels, Alien Rides, and Rev Rides. The affiliate links below give me a little kickback at no extra cost to you. They have fast shipping, incredible warranties, and you are in good hands with all three of those retailers. So if you want to pick up an EUC, go click the links below, and that helps me with going on different adventures, making videos like this, and bringing fresh content to you guys. So I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one.
about biking this? Wouldn't you rather be doing something more worthwhile, like reading a book?